Today's episode is brought to you by Forvis Mazars.
SoundCartel.
From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Whether you realise it or not, you're negotiating something every single day. From small things like your kids' screen time or what's for dinner, to bigger things like buying a house or closing a sale. So how do you gain confidence and get better at it, especially with the deals that matter? Alistair McBride is a negotiation and communication coach and author of Amazon bestseller Dealing with Goliath, The Psychological Edge in Negotiation for Business Owners. He takes his clients through a structure which includes adequate preparation and a focus on building rapport. He shares his method shortly. Chris Ashmore begins by asking Alistair whether you need to be aggressive or extroverted to be a good negotiator.
Usually the extroversion-introversion scale is 1 to 5 on the extremes. And what a lot of research has shown is that actually 3, so a balance of both, which quite a lot of people are, is actually the optimal area. A lot of people have it in their head that extroversion is where you need to be. And extroverts are very good at claiming value, doing a lot of the sharp talking and that kind of thing. But they're not fantastic at all at creating value. That's actually where the introverts usually shine. They're able to create value because they're able to listen, and that's usually the difference. One is good at domineering and manoeuvring the conversation, grabbing it by the neck. The other is very good, as I said, at listening to the other side. So really for those higher end, more intricate and more complex deals, you need that balance, more like the 3. Because the other side of the introvert, of course, is they won't ask. A lot of them are too shy or a little bit too nervous or self-conscious to ask for the sale or ask for the deal or that thing that they want. So a 3 is optimal, being in the middle of both.
What would you say are the biggest mistakes people make in a negotiation?
One of the key ones is undervaluing what you offer to the other side, not seeing the value from their side, not just your side. And that can really lower your estimation of what they'd be willing to pay. One of the others is poor preparation. You're not preparing yourself for some of the fair and fairly predictable questions the other side could ask. Another one is presuming no. So a friend's divorce lawyer recently said to her, "Oh, there's no point asking for that. We'll never get it." And I immediately think, no, ask for it. Make them say no. Don't just presume it's a no. You can do it so that you don't cause offense, but you still need to ask. So by way of a flip on that example, I have another colleague who often does deals and just says, 0% finance is fine. And 1 in every 3 deals, they'll say, no, the standard's 4%. And then they go, okay. And, 1 in every 3 deals, they say, well, hold on a second. Maybe we can do 2.5%. Right? Again, a win there. And in other deals, again, a third of them or so say, yeah, okay, 0%. So ask. This is the point. You don't know. Make them say no. And really the last thing then is feigning interest. That's quite a common one for certain situations. Playing it too cool. I'm not really that bothered, not really interested, it's okay. Because then if you come back and irritate the other person again, this is for example for buying a house or a car or something like this, they often presume you're just tire kicking and wasting their time. So don't feign interest. You can be honest and say, look, I have other options. There's some things that are not right about it, but I kind of like it. I kind of like what you're selling there, whatever it is, right? So feigning interest is another mistake.
So what makes a good negotiation? Is it the outcome you were hoping to achieve, or is it more than that?
Well, yeah, the outcome you're hoping to achieve or that need underneath being met. That's a key thing there. That's kind of your level 1, that meeting that need, whatever that is. And I suppose finding out what that need is kind of a part of that. But then the next level is then being open to getting more than you need or more than you thought was possible.
If you win the negotiation and they lose, is that success, or is a better definition or a better approach where you both win to an extent?
That's a good clarifier, yeah. You should both really succeed. Because even if it's a one-shot thing, a once-off thing, reputation is key. And there's even a guy who's a famous ice hockey agent. And after a while, clubs literally just went, if you're a player and you go with that guy, we're not dealing with you. Because he's such a steamroller. He's so aggressive, he won't let us win at anything. So we're just not dealing with it. So they literally cut him out. So this is the point, is that even in very tough talking industries, if you won't let the other side win even a little bit, then it's going to backfire on you sooner or later.
There's always a next step for your business, so grow with clarity and confidence with Forvis Mazars, supporting you every step of the way. Move forward with Forvis Mazars. Visit forvismazars.com/au. That's FORVISMAZARS.com/au.
You have a negotiation method. Could you walk us through that?
Yeah, certainly. So the first area is prepare. So it's all about highlighting and avoiding traps and basically getting out of our own heads and into our counterparts' heads, what they're thinking. And it allows robust planning so that we can make decisions more so through strategic choice than through reaction, which is kind of where you want to be making a lot of those choices. The next area is create. That's where we uncover and harness hidden value and adding that differentiation to the deal. That's where we're creating and spotting some of that new stuff. The next is control. It's where we're performing under pressure, because these things can be quite high pressure situations. It's basically where we manage how we think and how we feel. But it's all to keep us in check, but then to influence the other side, their thinking and behavior, to a mutually better outcome. And then the next one, it really is engage. That's where we put all of these elements into practice. It's where we're building rapport, we're creating that value, and we're being versatile and agile, and increasingly aiming to move the atmosphere from a feeling of somewhat adversarial scenario to more of an ally, which is easier said than done, but that's kind of where you want to feel that you're on the same side of the table, trying to solve a problem together, that bit more than you're trying to fight for scraps against each other. And the last area is win, and that's where we seal the deal. But we're trying to make it future-proof, make it easier to renew or expand as we go into our relationship with that client, and insulate your deal or your relationship both from outside disruption and from dreaded procurement departments.
Of course. You mentioned emotions there. Is that one of the hardest things to keep in check, is your emotions? And how do you keep your emotions in check?
It can be. I mean, I break people down, negotiators, into nice but nervous. It just kind of does what it says in the tin, where you don't like the negotiation, you find it stressful and all that, and you often feel you're getting pushed around and outplayed. And you're taking deals that you really probably know you shouldn't. And then there's the natural. They love the tussle. They love the wrestle. They're all into that, you know. And that's the thing. It's usually the nice but nervous that really need to keep their emotions in check, because there's an element of desperation. And I felt it myself. You know, when this deal means you have a nice holiday or you're really scrimping and saving for the next month, you're going to be in a compromised situation. So yeah, so one of the ways to do that is, you know, even just deep breathing. People, meditation routines are very popular. All of those sort of things help an awful lot. And I do other forms of mindset work with people on how to know their work, know your red lines, be well prepared. And that builds confidence in itself and lowers that sense of stress. But also even just remembering to get out of your head and into theirs is the objection, because then definition, the focus for yourself is on them and not on you, which again lowers that stress response.
I suppose with anything, if the more you do it, the better you get, the more comfortable you are, and the less emotional and nervous you become. Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely. Well, it's not to feel non-emotional, you know, it's to feel, and this is the thing, I wasn't going to say it, but it's to move from that fight or flight stress response into what we call the challenge stress response. And the main difference there, not to go too deep, but the main difference is that you think, one is, oh no, I don't think I can handle this, to being, this is quite stressful, but I think I can handle this. This is going to be good. And that's the challenge response. It's like sprinting or running or fighting or, you know, playing in a football game or something. You know, you're not relaxed, but you think this is challenging, but I can handle it. That's the difference.
Now, Al, once the deal is done, is that it? Is there anything else to consider afterwards?
The deal-making part is really just the end of phase one. So getting that deal closed, deal over the line, all those sort of terms, that's just phase one. And this is kind of the difference between the deal maker versus the implementer mindset. So the implementer is where we're adding in thinking about renewal, thinking how will this actually work in reality? Who needs to be involved? Fostering and growing the relationship so that it actually is mutually beneficial, and thinking in terms of milestones, check-ins for improvements and add-ons, not just to have more hassle for your side or yourself, but to add and potentially grow more options, right? So that it's, again, more insulated, because any third party coming in to try and disrupt that and say, oh, I'll be your supplier for such and such, then they have this huge sway of goodwill and tailored services, things that are adapted to the needs of the other side that they have to push up against. So you're hugely insulated when you're thinking in that implementer. Wait, now don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with the deal maker mindset. It's getting it over the line. That's absolutely key. Because otherwise none of the rest of it happens, right? So the deal maker, it's very dangerous if you're dealing, particularly with a medium-sized company, dealing with a much bigger company where the person doing the deal has absolutely nothing to do with how it's going to play out. That's where there's huge danger, because your counterpart can really be a huge help in making sure that it gets through, if there is a procurement department, it gets through all of that sort of stuff unscathed, because otherwise it's huge with a lot of multinationals, large companies like that, where they literally have to renegotiate the deal 18 months down the line, 12 months down the line, because it's not fit for purpose, because it was savaged. It was completely destroyed, where they got a deal that was fit for purpose and then it was reduced and chopped up. And that's such a shame. So you have to be conscious of all of these things, but it's an opportunity rather than a complete mess, is how we want to think of it.
That was Alistair McBride, author of Dealing with Goliath. To purchase a copy, head to the link in the show notes of this episode. Business Essentials Daily is a SoundCartel podcast. Producers are Nick Schildberger, Chris Ashmore, Jeff Waters and myself. Technical production by Pete Letts. I'm Nicole Goodman. Thanks for listening. We'll bring you more Be Daily next week. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Forvis Mazars. To find out more, visit forvismazars.com/au. That's FORVISMAZARS.com/au.